Hi, guys. It's Dr. Scott Graves. Today, I wanted to go over one of my favorite tools to use in the clinic, which is the Sedona Method. What is the Sedona Method? It is a series of questions that are meant to facilitate your complete and total emotional freedom. Negative emotions, the ones that we feel in our day to day lives, and also those stored within us from the past that still affect us in the present moment, inhibit us from growing, create health problems, and restrict us from having exactly what we want in this lifetime. And what all of us really, really want when it boils down to it is love. The irony is that love is already what you are. It's the essential nature of your being. So there's nothing that you have to do to get love. You just have to surrender and let go of anything that is not love. Any place in your life where you feel negative emotions, whether your relationships, at work, with financial issues, with your health, or anything else, you can use the Sedona method to surrender and let go of those emotions so that you can be free. The guiding principle of the Sedona method is that you are whole and perfect and complete, just as you are. Yes, just as you are. So often, people's sense of identity, purpose, and value is tied to the physical body and to the mind, which is composed of thoughts and emotions. The physical body has nothing to do with the essential nature of you. Neither does your mind. The thoughts and emotions that you experience do not have anything to do with you. This is very difficult for people to understand because we so often want to claim them as mine. If you are not the physical body, your thoughts or emotions, who or what are you? You are consciousness itself, soul or spirit, that's that which transcends physicality, emotions, and thought. There are four levels or layers to the human experience. The first is the physical layer. This pertains to anything in the physical domain, such as a body part, the trees outside, your car, the chair you're sitting in. Do physical things have the capacity to be aware of themselves? So, for example, does the chair sitting over here have the capacity to be aware of itself? No. A chair cannot be aware of itself. Something greater than the chair needs to be aware of the chair. And that points us to the domain of the second level or layer of the human experience, which is the level of mind. Something greater than the physical world needs to be aware of the physical world. And mind is composed of thoughts and feelings. I can have thoughts and feelings about physical things. So, for example, this chair sitting next to me, I could say the chair is brown. That's a thought. Or I could say, I love this chair, or I hate this chair. Those are feelings I'm having about the chair. Now, can the thought, for example, the chair is brown, be aware of the chair is brown? Or can the emotion of I hate this chair be aware of itself? So, can emotions and thoughts be aware of themselves? And the answer to that is no. Thoughts and feelings have no capacity to be aware of themselves. And that leads us to the third level or layer of the human experience, which is consciousness itself. Consciousness is the part of you that is aware that you're having thoughts and feelings and an experience in the physical body. So if I ask you, is there a part of you in this moment that's aware that you're having thoughts and feelings? Of course, you would answer yes. And this is what makes human beings different from the rest of creation. We are conscious of our experience of thoughts, emotions, and the physical body. Consciousness has been referred to as being the watcher, the witness, or the observer of the phenomena of mind and physicality. You are that which is watching, witnessing, and observing the mind and the physical world, but you are not the mind and the things in the physical world. An example of this would be like watching a movie and being aware that what you are watching is not you. You are simply watching, witnessing, and observing the movie rather than thinking that you somehow are the contents of the movie. You are context, which is consciousness, not the content, which is mind and body. You are that which is watching the movie. You are not the movie. This is the same with your life. Your life is like a movie, and you are that which is observing it. The contents is things that are happening in the mind and the body, which are not you. You are the watcher, the witness, and the observer. Even consciousness cannot be aware of consciousness, which leads us to the fourth level or layer of the human experience, which could be called pure awareness. Pure awareness is what's associated with divinity or God. Pure awareness is defined by wholeness, perfection, and completion. Synonyms for this would be love and joy and peace. This is why you don't have to do anything to get love, joy, or peace. Those things are already the essential nature of your being. So, how do we go from experiencing negative emotions to experiencing more love and joy and peace, which is the essential nature of our being? Well, this happens through the mechanism of surrender. We simply surrender everything that is not love in our life so that we can increasingly experience the love that we already are. Therefore, the first question in the Sedona method is this: could I welcome? And then you fill in the blank. This is a very powerful question. And the reason why it's so powerful is because much of the human experience is spent in resistance to things. Whenever you're feeling a negative emotion, you are in resistance to life itself. Life itself is love. And whenever you experience something negative, you are literally resisting life itself. Imagine for a moment that I was to ask you to put your hand against mine as if I was going to give you a high five. So I'm going to push against you with my hand, and you're going to push against and resist me with your hand. And the longer that you and I continue to resist and push against each other, the more that we're going to experience symptoms in our arm, such as discomfort, weakness, and eventually pain. Now, if I asked you, could you welcome all of the pressure that I'm putting against you in this moment? Now, what would that look like? The moment that you start welcoming my pressure, I would have nothing to push against anymore. And so the pressure would instantly vanish or go away. And this would instantly mean that the physical symptoms that I was experiencing in the arm, the pain, the weakness, the soreness, whatever it may be, would start to go away. And this analogy is exactly how we experience resistance in our life. When you let go of resisting life, you begin to experience life as love. There is a phrase in the medical world which says, whatever you resist persists. And this is so true with regards to health problems. The corollary to that is whatever you welcome dissolves. So you ask yourself, could I welcome the pain that I'm having in my body in this moment? Could I welcome the pain that's being felt in this moment? Could I welcome the anger that I'm feeling in this moment? Could I welcome the fear that I'm feeling in this moment? Whatever it is that's happening right now in this moment that is unwanted or undesirable, could you let go of resisting it? Right? Could you welcome it? And remember that the past can be accessed in the present moment. The future and the past are being experienced right now. So things that you felt 20 years ago that are still inside of you are accessible right now in this present moment. The adage that time heals all wounds is definitely not true. Time heals nothing. Conscious intention and surrender is what heals our old wounds. And when you ask yourself this question, could I welcome? It instantly puts you into the position of watcher, witness, and observer. When you put yourself into this position, choice now becomes available. What choice? The choice to either continuing to hold on to that negative emotion or experience or surrendering it and letting it go. Emotions are like holding on to a pen or a pencil in our hand. We know that the pen or the pencil is not us, and so we can drop it at any time. Emotions are not us either, and they can be dropped in the same way. Just this question alone can start to facilitate our freedom. It's a very powerful question. So, my encouragement is for you to start asking this question all the time in relation to anything in your life. Every health problem that we have and experience has a negative emotional component to it. In some, it's larger than it is in others. Next, we ask ourselves how we know that we're experiencing something and we welcome that experience. This boils down to three things: physical sensations, pictures, which are emotions, and sounds, which are thoughts. Let's use an example of a headache. How do we know that we have a headache? Well, because we feel the physical sensation of it. It feels dull, sharp, achy, stabbing, pressure, etc. A headache could also be caused by pictures. Think about what happened to you earlier at work this week when your boss said something to you that you didn't like, and it instantly brought up some fear and some frustration. And immediately following that, you got a headache. Well, if you bring that picture up into your mind, what he said, what was done, all those different components, it brings up the emotion that was trapped in that experience for you. And we can also experience sounds. Sounds can be physical sounds that we're hearing inside of our own head, such as our judgments, thoughts, and opinions, or they can be physical sounds as well, like the alarm went off at work, and because it was so loud, we started to get a headache. Either way, physical sounds or the sounds we're hearing inside of our own head, those are the things that we can identify as the evidence for our experience. So we have physical sensations, pictures, and sounds. Next, what we do is we break down whatever we're wanting to let go of into more bite sized, releasable pieces called the five wants. They are wanting approval, wanting control, wanting security, wanting separation, and wanting oneness. Let's go through all those. Wanting oneness is like wanting care, love, attention, affection, to be noticed, to be understood, to be liked. Think of all of the things that you've done in your life because you wanted someone else's approval, and how, if you haven't gotten that approval, it has caused you to suffer. I'm sure you can think of many experiences the same way that I have. The opposite of wanting approval is rejection. So if you're rejecting yourself, another person, or an experience, it's still just the same as you wanting approval. The reason why is because when there's no approval present and you're in a state of rejection, it's the very thing that you want. So that is wanting approval. Next is wanting control. This is wanting to force and manipulate and make something be exactly the way that you want it to be. Most people come into the clinic because they want control, because they don't feel like they have it in this moment when they're going through the symptoms that they're having. And this synonyms for this is wanting to control, including resistance, wanting to change things, wanting to understand, to manipulate, to punish, to fix, to force, to have it to be our way, to be right, and to be on top, among others. As we let go of wanting to control, ironically, we start to feel in more of control. The opposite of wanting control is allowing ourselves to be controlled by something or not having any control. In either state, allowing yourself to be controlled is still the same as wanting control, because the very thing that you don't have is control, and it's what you want. Wanting safety and security may include a sense of being threatened, uneasy, in danger, on guard, or feeling impending doom. The opposite of wanting safety and security is like wanting to give up or wanting to die. You can recognize it, however, because it may also feel like hopelessness or feeling defeated, like the end is near. In the extreme, it's either paralyzing fear or paralyzing apathy and hopelessness. We feel like we're about to die and we don't care. Depression is one of those states of wanting safety and security. And the fourth want is that of wanting separation. Wanting separation is a couple of things, such as wanting to stand out, avoidance, or escapism. Escapism looks like drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes or marijuana, doing illicit drugs, having tons of sex, binge eating sugar, binge watching Netflix, workaholism, gambling. Essentially, it is doing anything to avoid facing our internal emotional states. Separation can also look like being constantly engaged in differentiating yourself from everything and everyone else. We want to prove how we are different, better, or special. And the last want is that of wanting oneness. Wanting oneness is like wanting harmony and connection and unity to all things. Wanting oneness may have a strong feeling to it, but it also may be very subtle. It can also be a sense of yearning, of longing for connection, including wanting to unite, to accept, to be equal with, to be ordinary, to attach, to associate, to join, and to connect. The reason why we call these the five wants is simply because of our natural, pure state is one of wholeness and perfection and completion. So if you're whole and perfect and complete, you couldn't possibly want anything. So helping to identify these five wants helps us to identify the things that we need to let go of so that we can be free. And so after we identify what those things are, the final questions that is where the alchemy of the Sedona method happens is this: could you set that want free? Could you just drop it as best as you can? Another question is, would you set it free? So could implies ability, like I'm able to do it, whereas would implies volition, like I'm just going to do it. And then a final question could be, When will you set it free? When is an encouragement to do it now as opposed to sometime in the future? And while the Sedona method is very simple, I have seen people ask these questions after identifying the feelings and the wants sitting behind those feelings. And once they set those free, I've seen pain leave the body. I've seen entire health conditions disappear. I have seen people gain freedom on crazy levels right in front of my very eyes. And the beautiful thing is this is something you can learn and you can do at any time, anywhere inside of your own awareness. And so that's the Sedona method, guys. If you have any questions, drop those comments below. But thanks so much for watching.